Harley-Davidson dealerships across America are facing a problem they never expected. Bikes piling up and sales grinding to a halt. From stripped-down cruisers to futuristic experiments, these 7 models just did not hit the mark. Stick around because the #1 bike on this list will surprise you. Number 7. Harley-Davidson Softtail Standard. When Harley-Davidson introduced the Softtail Standard, it aimed to bring back the essence of pure no-frills riding. This model was crafted as a nostalgic nod to the brand's roots, offering a straightforward, stripped-down cruiser without unnecessary gimmicks. The concept was simple: give riders a minimalist experience where it is just you, the open road, and the roar of a V-twin engine. The Softtail Standard ditches elaborate fairings, electronics, and flashy styling in favor of an authentic motorcycle experience. Full throttle attitude with zero distractions. At the heart of the Softtail Standard is the Milwaukee 8107 engine, a 1,745 cubic centimeter V-twin that produces 87 horsepower and 109 pound-feet of torque. Paired with a 6-speed transmission, the engine delivers robust mid-range power, making city cruising a breeze. The power plant's signature Harley rumble complements the bike's straightforward design, offering a visceral connection between rider and machine. Weighing around 680 pounds, the Softtail Standard is relatively lightweight compared to other Harley models. The braking system features a single-disc setup at both the front and rear, equipped with an anti-lock braking system for enhanced stability during sudden stops. The suspension consists of telescopic front forks and a monoshock rear, providing a firm yet manageable ride that maintains the traditional cruiser feel. While not overly plush, the setup is adequate for smoother roads and casual rides, but it can feel harsh on rougher terrain. Despite its back-to-basics appeal, the Softtail Standard faced some criticism upon release. One of the biggest drawbacks is the lack of wind protection. While the open, wind-in-your-face vibe works for short city rides, it becomes exhausting on highways. Without a standard windshield, even modest cruising speeds lead to fatigue from constant wind blast. Riders who wanted more comfort had to invest in aftermarket wind protection, adding to the bike's cost. Another common issue is the single-seat configuration. The sleek solo saddle looks clean but eliminates the option of carrying a passenger without modification. Adding a passenger seat and sissy bar requires additional investment, which frustrated buyers looking for a more versatile cruiser. Comfort also becomes problematic during longer rides. The mid-mount foot controls and narrow solo seat can create pressure points, making extended journeys uncomfortable. Taller riders report feeling cramped, while shorter riders struggle to plant their feet firmly at stops. In terms of onboard features, the Softtail Standard is notably sparse. Unlike many modern bikes that offer cruise control, traction settings, or USB ports, this model has none of these conveniences. In an era where even budget motorcycles include tech options, the Softtail Standard feels outdated. This minimalist approach might appeal to purists, but for many potential buyers, the lack of basic amenities made the bike feel out of touch. Price-wise, the Softtail Standard starts at $13,949. While that seems reasonable for a Harley, the issue arises when factoring in necessary accessories. Adding windshields, passenger seats, and saddlebags can push the cost closer to $15,000, making the base price feel misleading. For riders seeking a more complete package, this piecemeal approach proved frustrating. If a bare-bones Softtail sounds like a tough sell, wait until you hear about the next bike that tried to be a sports bike but failed miserably. Upgrade your ride with our favorite gear. Find it all in the description. Number 6. HarleyDavidson Street Rod. Harley-Davidson took a bold step with the Street Rod, aiming to attract younger riders looking for a sportier, urban-focused bike. Departing from the brand's classic cruiser image, the Street Rod was designed to blend Harley's heritage with a fresh, aggressive stance. Built on the same platform as the Street 750, it promised to be sportier, edgier, and more responsive. Harley envisioned it as the perfect balance between classic design and modern performance, targeting city environments while still offering enough punch for weekend rides. At the heart of the Street Rod is the Revolution X engine, a liquid-cooled V-twin that displaces 749 cubic centimeters. It produces 68 horsepower and 74 pound-feet of torque, offering a noticeable boost compared to the standard Street 750. The 6-speed transmission pairs well with the engine, providing smooth gear changes and a responsive feel during city commuting. Weighing in at 516 pounds, the Street Rod is relatively lightweight for a Harley. The braking system features dual front discs and a single rear disc, offering strong stopping power, while the suspension setup includes inverted front forks and gas-charged rear shocks for sharper handling. Despite the sporty setup, the ride quality remained inconsistent and underwhelming. One of the most significant issues with the Street Rod was its cramped ergonomics. Harley intended the bike to have a more aggressive riding position, but the result was uncomfortable for many. The mid-mounted foot pegs are positioned too high, forcing riders into a tight knee-bent stance that becomes unbearable on longer rides. The narrow, firm seat only added to the discomfort, especially for taller riders who found the cramped riding triangle awkward. Even during short city rides, the posture felt unnatural and strained, leading to back pain and leg cramps on extended trips. The design itself also faced criticism. Harley aimed to blend cruiser DNA with a sport bike attitude, featuring drag-style handlebars, a chopped tail, and aggressive tank lines. However, this resulted in an identity crisis. Traditional Harley fans felt it looked too generic and lacked soul, while younger riders expecting a sporty feel found the aesthetic dated. It did not carry the charisma of other Harley models, leaving it stuck between being a modern reinterpretation and a failed attempt at innovation. Performance was another letdown. While the Revolution X engine offered decent torque, the overall feel was underwhelming. The engine's character lacked the raw, visceral punch that Harley enthusiasts expect from a V-twin, and the power output did not align with the bike's sporty image. It was marginally faster than the standard Street 750, but not enough to stand out in a competitive segment. Quality issues also marred the Street Rod's reputation. Owners reported minor problems like rattling panels, inconsistent finishes, and occasional electrical glitches. Although not catastrophic, these issues affected the bike's perceived quality, especially when compared to Japanese competitors known for higher standards. At a starting price of $8,699, riders felt the Street Rod did not justify its cost, especially when rivals offered better performance and reliability. Marketing the Street Rod as a bold, youthful option did little to boost its appeal. Dealers noticed that younger buyers did not flock to the model as expected. Even with promotions and demo rides, the enthusiasm just was not there. Dealerships found themselves holding on to stock longer than anticipated, as the bike's niche appeal was insufficient to drive sales. If you think this sporty experiment missed the mark, wait until you hear about the next model that aimed for luxury but ended up overpriced and underappreciated. You're still here? That's awesome. Clearly, you're as hooked on motorcycle stories as we are. Show some love. Hit that subscribe button and like this video. Number 5. Harley-Davidson Road Glide CVO. Harley wanted to deliver a bike that combined comfort, performance, and advanced technology, appealing to riders who wanted the best of the best. With its bold styling, signature shark nose fairing, and a sound system rivaling most cars, the Road Glide CVO is a statement piece for those willing to pay a premium. At the heart of the Road Glide CVO is the Milwaukee 8 121 V-twin engine, boasting 1,983 cubic centimeters of displacement. This powerhouse produces 115 horsepower and 139 pound-feet of torque, offering strong low-end torque, perfect for highway cruising. Paired with a 6-speed transmission, it shifts smoothly, providing effortless performance whether on the interstate or city streets. The Road Glide CVO weighs just under 950 pounds, making it one of the heaviest in Harley's touring lineup. The braking system features dual front disc and a single rear disc, all equipped with an anti-lock braking system for secure stopping even when heavily loaded. The suspension setup includes adjustable touring suspension designed to balance comfort with handling. However, due to the bike's considerable weight, it feels cumbersome during tight maneuvers, and the suspension can still feel stiff on rough roads despite the advanced setup. What sets the Road Glide CVO apart from standard models are its premium features. It boasts a 12.3-inch full-color touchscreen that integrates navigation, audio, and bike information. The Rockford Fosgate audio system delivers a powerful, clear sound even at highway speeds, while the heated hand grips and premium chrome finishes enhance the luxury experience. Custom paint schemes further add to the bike's exclusivity, making it a true flagship model. However, the most significant drawback of the Road Glide CVO is its steep price. Starting at $51,999, it is one of Harley's most expensive motorcycles. While packed with features, many buyers question whether the extras justify the hefty cost, especially when compared to more affordable touring models in the Harley lineup. For many, it feels more like a luxury upgrade rather than a revolutionary improvement in touring comfort. Resale value is another major concern. CVO models tend to depreciate rapidly, and the Road Glide CVO is no exception. Owners often see a significant drop in value within the first year, making it a risky investment for those who are not committed to long-term ownership. This rapid depreciation has made some longtime Harley fans cautious about investing in such a premium model. Another divisive aspect is the bike's practicality as a touring machine. Despite being marketed as the ultimate long-distance cruiser, the Road Glide CVO does not significantly outperform standard touring models in comfort. The flashy paintwork, advanced audio, and luxury touches are appealing, but the actual touring experience does not drastically improve. Many buyers opt to customize a standard Road Glide instead, achieving a similar level of comfort without paying the CVO premium. Even within the Harley community, the reception has been mixed. Some enthusiasts appreciate the craftsmanship and the prestige of owning a CVO, while others feel that the model's high cost and heavy build make it less practical. Dealers have also struggled to move these bikes, as potential buyers often compare it with more affordable and versatile models that offer comparable comfort. If luxury could not cut it, the next model aimed to combine muscle with style but missed the mark. Number 4. Harley-Davidson Fat Bob 114. When Harley-Davidson unveiled the Fat Bob 114, it aimed to make a bold statement, an aggressive, no-compromise machine designed to merge Harley's classic cruiser DNA with a muscular, modern edge. At the heart of the Fat Bob is the Milwaukee 8 114 engine, a torque-heavy V-twin that delivers 94 horsepower and 119 pound-feet of torque. The engine's displacement is 1,868 cubic centimeters, giving the bike plenty of muscle to back up its rebellious look. Paired with a 6-speed transmission, the Fat Bob offers strong acceleration, especially off the line, where the torque kicks in immediately. The bike tips the scales at 676 pounds, relatively lightweight for a cruiser of its size. The braking system consists of dual front disc brakes and a single rear disc, providing reliable stopping power. The inverted front forks and monoshock rear suspension enhance stability and cornering, making the Fat Bob feel more nimble than many other Harley models. Despite these promising specs, the bike's handling often felt heavier than expected due to its chunky tires, which, while great for straight-line stability, made cornering cumbersome. One of the most polarizing aspects of the Fat Bob was its styling. The bike's modern, almost bulldog-like stance with its wide tires, blackout finishes, and aggressive LED headlamp was a bold departure from Harley's traditional aesthetic. While some appreciated the new look, many Harley purists felt it strayed too far from the brand's heritage. Even younger riders, whom Harley targeted with this model, often preferred more refined sport cruisers from other brands, leaving the Fat Bob stuck between appealing to old-school fans and attracting a new crowd. The riding position also drew mixed reviews. Harley marketed the Fat Bob as an aggressive, versatile machine, but the combination of forward foot controls and low, stretched-out handlebars made the posture awkward for many. It looked cool, but the forward-leaning stance put pressure on the lower back, while the wide handlebars required an unnatural reach, especially for average-sized riders. This setup made long-distance cruising uncomfortable, which was disappointing for a bike meant to offer a blend of power and comfort. Handling was another area where expectations did not meet reality. While the wide tires and modern suspension should have given it an edge, they instead made the bike feel less agile. The chunky tires that enhanced its aggressive look actually compromised its responsiveness in corners. Riders who expected a nimble street fighter instead found themselves wrestling with the bike's bulk, especially when navigating tighter city streets or sharp bends. One surprising drawback was the sound. The Fat Bob's 2-in-1-into-2 exhaust system, while visually distinctive, lacked the classic Harley rumble. The muffled tone did not match the bike's bold aesthetic, disappointing riders who expected the signature throaty roar. This quieter, more subdued exhaust note made it sound less rebellious and more refined, which did not align with the bike's aggressive image. The Fat Bob 114's pricing also raised eyebrows. Starting at $18,000, it competed directly with both Harley's own versatile models and sport cruisers from other brands like Indian and Yamaha. Riders who expected a pure performance machine often questioned whether the aggressive styling and moderate power justified the cost. From muscle-bound mistakes to futuristic flops, the next model is a risk that Harley wishes it had not taken. Number 3. HarleyDavidson Livewire. Back in the year 2019, Harley-Davidson made one of its boldest moves by launching the Livewire, an electric motorcycle that aimed to revolutionize the brand's image. Unlike the traditional cruisers or touring models Harley was known for, the Livewire represented a new era, where modern technology and electric power could coexist with the brand's legacy. Harley positioned it as a groundbreaking step, targeting environmentally conscious riders who also craved performance. The Livewire's design was sleek and futuristic, featuring aggressive lines and a compact, minimalist aesthetic. It looked nothing like a traditional Harley, signaling the brand's commitment to innovation. Marketed as a blend of electric efficiency and sport bike agility, it promised to combine eco-friendliness with thrilling performance. Yet, despite the hype, it quickly became one of Harley's most polarizing models. At the heart of the Livewire is a permanent magnet electric motor, delivering 105 horsepower and 86 pound-feet of torque. The bike's acceleration was impressive, going from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 3 seconds, providing an immediate rush when the throttle was twisted. In the city, it could manage up to 146 miles on a single charge, but highway range dropped to about 70 miles. This urban-oriented range was practical for commuting but inadequate for long-distance touring, frustrating traditional Harley riders. Weighing in at 549 pounds, the Livewire felt nimble compared to heavier touring models. The braking system featured dual front disc brakes and a single rear disc, all equipped with an anti-lock braking system for reliable stops. The suspension setup included fully adjustable Showa inverted front forks and a monoshock rear, offering a balanced ride with decent comfort and handling precision. However, despite its high-tech specs and smooth handling, the Livewire faced a fundamental issue. It did not feel like a Harley. One major drawback was the lack of the iconic V-twin rumble. Instead, the Livewire emitted a futuristic whirring sound that lacked the raw, mechanical soul Harley fans cherished. This silent operation left many loyal enthusiasts feeling disconnected, as the absence of the signature engine growl made the bike feel almost alien. Another critical issue was the price. At launch, the Livewire cost $29,799, far pricier than many of Harley's premium touring bikes. This steep cost deterred younger, tech-savvy buyers, while older fans were reluctant to spend nearly $30,000 on a bike that did not sound like a Harley. Even after dropping the price to $22,000, the model struggled to attract significant interest. Charging infrastructure also posed problems. While the Livewire supported direct current fast charging, which could reach 80% in about 40 minutes, reliable charging stations were not always available. This made planning long trips difficult, as charging required time and patience compared to filling a gas tank in minutes. Many riders found the charging logistics frustrating, limiting the bike's practical use. The bike's high-tech features, including a 12.3-inch full-color touchscreen with navigation, ride modes, and Bluetooth connectivity, felt excessive to some Harley purists. For a brand rooted in heritage, the Livewire's modern interface seemed disconnected from the classic riding experience. Additionally, concerns about resale value arose as the niche appeal and high initial cost led to significant depreciation. From electric ambition to a retro revival gone wrong, the next bike failed to capture its audience. Number 2. Harley-Davidson Nightster. The Harley-Davidson Nightster was supposed to mark a bold new chapter for the brand. When Harley announced the revival of the Nightster name, fans expected a modern twist on the classic Sportster, a bike that would carry the raw, rebellious spirit of past models into the present. Instead, it became a motorcycle caught between tradition and innovation, struggling to satisfy both longtime Harley enthusiasts and newer riders looking for something fresh. Marketed as a lightweight, agile cruiser with vintage aesthetics and contemporary performance, the Nightster ultimately left many disappointed. The Nightster is powered by the Revolution Max engine, a liquid-cooled V-twin that displaces 975 cubic centimeters. It delivers around 90 horsepower and 70 pound-feet of torque. While these figures are impressive for a Sportster-inspired bike, the engine's character was a letdown for traditional Harley fans. Used to the iconic V-twin rumble and low-end grunt, they found the Revolution Max too smooth and higher revving. This disconnect made the engine feel almost sanitized, lacking the soul that defines Harley's classic sound. Weighing 489 pounds, the Nightster is relatively lightweight by Harley standards, enhancing its nimble handling in urban settings. The braking system features a single front and rear disc setup, adequate for its weight, though some found the braking response abrupt compared to heavier touring models. The suspension system includes a telescopic front fork and dual rear shocks, tuned for agility rather than long-distance comfort. While the setup is practical for city rides, it falls short on highways, where the lack of wind protection and firm suspension become noticeable. The Nightster's main issue is its identity crisis. Harley aimed to blend the rebellious essence of the original Sportster lineup with modern performance, but the result was neither fully retro nor convincingly modern. Longtime fans found it lacking the raw, rumbling character of classic Harleys, while younger riders saw it as too conservative compared to more aggressively styled alternatives. The bike's aesthetic, with a blacked-out engine, compact design, and minimalist bodywork, seemed more utilitarian than stylish. The tank shape, mid-mounted controls, and compact seating did not evoke the bold presence that Harley is known for. Comfort was another problem area. The mid-mount foot controls and relatively low handlebars created a cramped riding position for taller individuals, while even average-height riders reported discomfort on longer trips. The seat, though compact and practical for short rides, became uncomfortable during extended journeys, leading to back pain and sore wrists. Although the Nightster's compact design made it agile in the city, it was less enjoyable on the highway. Price was a significant factor in the Nightster's struggle to attract buyers. Starting at $13,499, it faced tough competition from more traditional Sportsters like the Iron 12, 100, and 48, which retained the classic Harley feel. Riders looking for a more authentic experience often gravitated towards these older models, which offered a rugged charm without the modern compromises of the Nightster. Ultimately, the Nightster ended up being a bike that left both traditionalists and new riders confused. It had potential but lacked the clear identity that made classic Sportsters iconic. Harley-Davidson, a brand deeply rooted in tradition and distinctive design, struggled to balance these elements, and the Nightster's inability to evoke an emotional connection was its biggest flaw. As a result, the bike remained in showrooms, gathering dust rather than building a loyal following. When retro styling doesn't resonate, it ends up gathering dust. The next model aimed to be entry-level but couldn't make the cut. Number 1. HarleyDavidson Street Series. The Harley-Davidson Street Series was intended to be a game-changer for the brand. Harley set out to create a more affordable, lightweight, and approachable motorcycle to attract younger riders and first-time buyers. It was supposed to be a gateway into the Harley lifestyle, offering the iconic name without the intimidating size or price of the larger cruisers. The Street Series was introduced with two variants, the Street 500 and the Street 750. Both bikes were designed to provide a nimble, urban-friendly ride while maintaining enough power to satisfy riders transitioning from smaller bikes. The Street 500 is equipped with a liquid-cooled Revolution XV twin engine, delivering 34 horsepower and 29 pound-feet of torque from its 494 cubic centimeter displacement. The slightly more powerful Street 750 features a liquid-cooled Revolution XV twin engine as well, but with a displacement of 749 cubic centimeters, producing 47 horsepower and 44 pound-feet of torque. Both models are relatively lightweight, tipping the scales at around 517 pounds, making them easier to handle than most of Harley's larger cruisers. The braking system includes a single front and rear disc with an anti-lock braking system available as an option. The suspension setup consists of telescopic front forks and dual rear shocks, which offer adequate support for city commuting but can feel a bit stiff on uneven roads. However, the Street Series faced issues right from the start. The most common complaint among Harley enthusiasts was that these bikes simply did not feel like Harleys. The Revolution X engines, while practical and efficient, lack the signature V-twin rumble that fans expect. Instead of a deep, throaty growl, the Street 500 and Street 750 produced a muted, almost synthetic sound. For a brand built on iconic engine noises and visceral riding experiences, this was a major drawback. Many traditional Harley riders found the sound too tame and lacking in personality. Build quality was another problem. While Harley aimed to make these bikes more affordable, some riders felt the cost-cutting measures were too obvious. The finishes appeared plasticky, and some parts did not have the solid, robust feel associated with Harley-Davidson motorcycles. Owners reported issues with rattling panels, loose fasteners, and paint that scratched too easily. These minor issues accumulated, giving the impression of a budget bike that did not live up to the brand's reputation for rugged durability. Another significant issue was the performance. While the Street 750 has more power than the Street 500, neither model offers the strong, low-end torque that Harley riders crave. Both bikes feel underpowered on the highway, particularly when trying to maintain speed at higher revs. This makes them less suitable for long-distance rides or even spirited weekend cruising. In urban settings, the power is adequate for commuting, but once outside city limits, the lack of muscle becomes apparent. At launch, the Street 500 was priced at $7,695, while the Street 750 came in at $8,499. On paper, these prices made sense as entry-level Harleys. However, many potential buyers found that they could get more performance and better quality from competitors at a similar price point. Eventually, Harley-Davidson began phasing out the Street Series, quietly admitting that the gamble to capture a younger demographic did not pay off. Today, remaining stock can still be found in dealerships, but most riders continue to pass them by in favor of models with a stronger legacy and a more authentic feel. That's it for today. Which one surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments, and if you enjoyed the ride, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Ride safe and see you in the next one.